crashes, defective products, dangerous drugs, injuries, and abuse. Across the state of Alabama, the attorneys, proudly sponsored by the law firm of Hollis, Wright, are here to serve you. Your tough legal questions answered by our experts with host David Lamb and the attorneys of Hollis, Wright.
Good evening and welcome into the attorneys. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Got a really interesting this one's hot off the presses for sure. A case you're going to want to, a show and a topic you're certainly going to want to pay attention to tonight and take note more on that in a bit. A couple of housekeeping notes to join our conversation. All you have to do, call, text, email, that information at the bottom of the screen all throughout the program tonight. And Hollis Wright makes available attorneys who are standing by live to speak with you. That is a free, off-air and confidential conversation, a great opportunity for you to take advantage of tonight. As long as we are on the air, those attorneys are standing by live to speak with you, so take advantage of that opportunity. Leading our conversation, Carter Clay from Hollis Wright. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, David. Hope you're doing well.
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. We're going to talk about CPAP litigation on this show. We're going to cover this particular project. Bo Bell in our office does a fantastic job heading up our mass tort department. We've got a great team at Hollis Wright that is involved in a new project that's emerged within the last really year or so involving Philips Respironics product, CPAP product and Bi-Pap products that they've manufactured and some problems associated with that project and or with that product. 20 years ago, I'm not even sure I knew what a CPAP machine was, but the older I get, the more and more I hear about family and friends
They're prominent,
using CPAPs and becoming very dependent on CPAPs to get good sleep. There are a lot of people out there that have been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and of course you hear a lot of spouses saying their spouse snores a lot, and they undergo sleep studies, and you'll hear people talk about, oh, I did this sleep study and they were telling me I was waking up 70 or 80, 90 times during the course of the night, and it really changed their lives for the better when they got on these CPAP machines. But within the last year or so, there have been some problems associated with various models of CPAP and Bi-Pap machines. And so we're involved in the project, and there is no better person to come on the show and talk about that particular project than my law partner, Bo Bell. How you doing, Bo?
Doing well, thank you, thank you.
Tell the viewers a little bit about what is this CPAP litigation involve and kind of how did we get here?
Okay, the CPAPs are manufactured by Philips Respironics, and as you said, it's not just the CPAP you have at home, but these are Bi-Paps and some mechanical ventilators you'll find in the hospitals. In June 2021 is when this really broke, is they recalled almost all of their models that were manufactured before April of 2021. And the reason for this recall is these products have a sound abatement foam in it, and this sound abatement foam is polyester, polyurethane foam, and it's degrading. And when it degrades, it releases these black particles or toxic chemicals, and it's causing all sorts of injuries, some very life-threatening, and that's kind of a 10,000-foot overview of what this litigation is about.
Yeah, so we're obviously involved in the project. We're representing a lot of people that use these CPAPs and Bi-Pap machines. And I guess just for purposes of clarification, we don't need to get in the weeds too much, but we were talking before the show about what CPAP actually stands for, and it stands for continuous positive airway or airflow pressure. And as I understand how these machines work, the CPAP controls the pressure or increases positive airway pressure going on when you inhale at night, and then the Bi-Pap actually increases the pressure when you inhale, but it also controls the pressure on the exhale. And so, David, that's why they talk about Bi-Pap. It's a two-level or two-way air control or air pressure control system. So it's a little bit more, I guess, sophisticated or customized for the particular user. But those are the types of machines that we're talking about here. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The CPAP is going to be the most numerous. DreamStation actually is probably the largest seller for Philips, and that's going to be the one, that's going to be 80% of these recalls. So if you have a DreamStation at home and it was manufactured before April of 2021, there's a 99% chance it's part of this recall.
Now, what's interesting about it is, and I don't use a CPAP, but I was thinking about it when I found out that the issue in these machines relates to the sound abatement foam. And I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, well, that makes sense, because if you're using a CPAP machine and the CPAP is designed to help you breathe better, but it makes a bunch of noise, that kind of defeats the purpose, because if you're being awakened by the noise, so they've got the sound abatement foam or noise reducing foam inside it. And at some point in the past, of course, as you know, this will be one of the areas of discovery in terms of trying to find out when Philips knew and what they knew.
Sure.
But at some point it was discovered that these the sound abatement foam was degrading or breaking down, and people, David, were inhaling black particulates and chemicals and things that are potentially a carcinogen that can cause cancer.
A question we've got here, all right? So there's obviously a problem here with the ones you're talking about. So if folks have a CPAP machine that was recalled, what do you advise them to do? So if they're watching tonight, they're a CPAP user, what do they do?
First, you need to talk to your doctor and tell him about the situation. He should know, although I will say just this month, the FDA got on to Philips and said, you know, you're doing a terrible job with this recall. You're not really letting people know, and you're doing a really bad job at this repair and replace. So that's where you start. Talk to your doctor, let him know what's going on. Now, he may say, look, your situation's so bad, you may have to continue while you wait for your replacement, or he may say, you know, you probably could stop for a while, or maybe they'll try to find a replacement. There are other manufacturers, but it's important that you do that. The other thing is go to Philips' website. Their website is full of information about which products are recalled. They have a section there you can put in your serial number, and it will tell you whether it's one of the recalled ones or not, and from there you can start the replacement process. Again, understand they are super slow right now. So you really need to talk to your doctor, get them to weigh the pros and cons of this and what you need to do, but that's kind of where you want to start. And I did mention serial numbers. I want to say that's going to be in the back of the machine. You flip it over, you're going to see SN and a bunch of numbers. You're going to want to keep that. Take a picture of it. Below that is going to see a reference, REF. You're going to want that. These are the things that you want to know, and if you come to us as attorneys, I need to know, because it's going to tell me exactly what model you had, and I can also find out whether or not it is part of this recall.
Yeah, that's great advice. How many people around the country are likely affected by this recall? I mean, what numbers are you hearing in terms of people that were actually using these Philips CPAP devices?
It is going to be in the millions.
Yeah.
I mean, they made millions of these. I don't even know what the numbers are. I think they kind of keep growing, but we're talking a lot.
Now, what are you hearing briefly in terms of the types of injuries that can be potentially caused by this problem?
It's a good question. It's probably maybe a long one, but right now it's kind of a lot of things. I mean, we're talking about liver disease, kidney disease, certain types of cancers, all sorts of lung diseases. You know, we're going to have to get to a point where we see what our experts can actually back up. What can this foam cause? How long you had to use it? But right now, it's a pretty wide group we're looking at, but we do know that as the case progresses, this may narrow down.
Yeah, as the case progresses and develops, as we consult with medical experts, scientists who will look at the foam and how it's degrading and what it's kind of turning into and the chemicals that people are inhaling, we will start to identify what real types of injuries and cancers are being caused by this problem. But it's a significant problem. I mean, it would be extremely frightening to me to find out that I had been using a CPAP for years, and breathing in black particles and particulates and chemicals that could cause cancer.
Yeah, that's scary to think about. All right, we've got more on this coming up. We're going to step aside our first break of the evening as we do so. A quick reminder about social media and Hollis Wright. Wherever you are, they are. So if you're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they are there. Just search Hollis Wright and you'll find them. It's a really great resource for you to keep up with legal matters and kind of in the know about cases just like the one we're talking about tonight. All right, stay with us. We're coming back. More of the attorneys right after this quick break.
I'm Josh Wright with the law firm of Hollis Wright, a personal injury law firm, and thank you for watching The Attorneys. We hope you, a friend, or a loved one never needs legal counsel for a case. But if you do, the goal of the show is simple: to provide answers and legal counsel when you need it the most. Your call to the show is free and off air. So if you have questions specific to the show or related to other accident or injury topics, call, email, or text us. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, or go to hollis-wright.com and click on the Contact Us button. We know your time is valuable, so thank you for spending it with us and watching The Attorneys.
The Attorneys, proudly sponsored by the law firm of Hollis Wright, are here to serve you.
When we started the show 8 years ago, my hope was we would be able to do what we do best, which is to help people answer real-world legal-related issues they have in their life.
People oftentimes are confronting various legal issues and problems in their lives that range across the gamut of legal practice areas. Bankruptcy, criminal law, family law, just to name a few. And to be able to have a 30-minute platform or format to where we can just cover various legal topics once a week, that's obviously the primary focus of the show.
That we would be able to use the resources of the many lawyers we have at this law firm to create a plan that had a lasting impact that also gave back to the community at the same time. And I think we've done just that with the Attorneys.
Welcome back to The Attorneys. Appreciate you being with us tonight. Before we get back to our conversation about CPAPs and issues related to CPAPs, a reminder, attorneys from Hollis Wright are standing by live all throughout the program tonight. So as long as we are live on the air, as long as this show is on, then attorneys are standing by live to speak with you. That is a free, off-air, and confidential conversation, and something that Hollis Wright makes available every time The Attorneys is on the air. All right, back to our conversation here, talking about CPAPs. A question here: if I have a medical condition that I believe may be related to using the CPAP machine, so it doesn't sound like they're completely sure, but might be, what do you advise folks in that situation to do? How can they find out if maybe they might be a candidate for this case?
Right. First thing is always go see your doctor. Every time I'm on the show and I talk about advice and that question comes up, like, talk to your doctor, get it treated first. I mean, that's always going to be your number one, is your health. Second thing is you certainly can contact our office. We have information on our website. We can talk to you about it, and we can kind of narrow down, like, this is where we're looking, this is what we think it could be, and then we can have that discussion. You know, you want to get it treated. We want to make sure we can find records that prove what you're saying, but that's really it. Just talking to us. We'll go through, here's the things we believe we can prove, and from there you'll have a better understanding whether your injury actually may be part of this.
Can I ask just a real quick follow-up there? Because folks hearing this or maybe seeing something on the news, it's kind of a scary topic,
right,
if you're using one of these, right? So the inclination may be, well, I'm just going to stop using the thing altogether. So that's what you're advising. Talk to your doctor before doing anything like that.
You do not want to do this. I mean, sleep apnea, which is probably one of the number of reasons you use this, I mean, it's a very dangerous situation to have, and it can cause all sorts of problems. Don't do anything on your own without talking to your doctor. They're probably aware of this issue, but I wouldn't wait around. I would get on the phone now.
Well, and it's actually, David, what we're finding is it's just the opposite of what you said, which is people are so dependent upon getting a good night's rest with the CPAP machine that a lot of people are continuing to use it until they get a replacement. So it's sort of pick your poison, I guess, under the circumstances. And so we are finding that is occurring, and with the number of millions of people that are using and relying upon these machines, it's not easy to get these replaced overnight. Yeah. And so a lot of these people are having to wait several weeks, if not several months, to get a replacement machine. So they're really caught in a difficult, tough spot.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why you want to get on it now. And again, go into that Philips website, registering machine, get the process going, because again, the FDA has already told them, I mean, you're doing a terrible job at how fast you're doing this, and people need these things. So don't delay.
Yeah, circling back to the sound abatement foam issue, because we are here in Alabama, and I'm hearing some stories about environmental issues that can cause the breaking down or the degradation of the foam, make it worse. What are you hearing in that regard?
Heat and humidity. So welcome to Alabama and welcome to the South.
Geez.
Those they've acknowledged are actually will break it down faster. The other thing is using cleaning products that Philip never told you to use, and those are going to be your ozone cleaners and your UV cleaners. Those will increase the breakdown much greater and release more of those volatile organic compounds. So they'll definitely tell you do not be doing any of that. I mean, you can't protect the heat and humidity, but be careful what you use to clean this with.
If a viewer out there was inclined to give you a call and talk with you about us representing them, explain to the viewers a little bit about the structure of our fee agreement with people so that they can understand what all's involved.
Sure. We work on a contingency, which means you don't pay me anything unless we recover. That's how we get paid. Is we take cases we believe in and we pursue them, and if somehow it doesn't go right, it didn't cost you anything. So we work on a contingency fee. Therefore, there's no risk for you monetarily to do this. And we do all the heavy lifting. We'll do the experts and everything else. So,
and we handle all the expenses. So if there are filing fees with the court, if there are expert fees involved, medical records that we have to obtain, all of this costs money. We pay for all of that up front, and we only recover the expenses, again, if we recover money for the client.
That's correct. There's nothing out of your pocket. I mean, that's what makes this a great system to do for this types of injuries, because if companies made you pay us, I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it. So this is perfectly set up for the consumers and for the people to be able to get representation and not have to worry about coming out of pocket.
Yeah. How does something like this, you guys see this stuff all the time, but like to a simple person like me, I'm thinking, how can this even happen? Because isn't somebody like keeping an eye on these companies? Because you would think before something in an apparatus, someone who has breathing difficulty, to their fix to the noise being something that does damage to people who have breathing issues. This seems like a simple kind of. They should have been ahead of this. But is someone watching?
The FDA monitors all these products, or I guess should I say approve them, but they're not big enough to look at every single thing. The companies, this is pharmaceutical or medical device, they have a duty to notify the FDA when they see problems. And I think that's what we're going to be alleging here, is that Philips knew for a really long time. I mean, they're supposedly, and again, until we see them directly, emails with their foam suppliers back in 16, 18 saying, this is degrading. Wow. And unfortunately, these companies will put profits over health. And what we're also hearing is that they were delaying it because, as I said, DreamStation is probably the largest part of this recall. Well, they came out with DreamStation 2, and there's a theory that they delayed because they wanted to get this new product out before they actually had to do anything about this recall. So I think we're going to find some bad action on Philips' part.
And one way this evolves and kind of gets publicized and gets started is you have situations where you might have customers or users that are registering complaints. For instance, they may have records in their database of people repeatedly or consistently calling in saying, hey, I'm seeing these black particulates in my machine when I'm cleaning it out, and this seems odd. And so you start to get notification to companies like Philips, and they start looking into it, and then they have to make a decision on what they want to do. Do they want to publicize the issue? Do they want to recall the product? Or do they want to sit on all of these complaints? Well, if you sit on all of these complaints and you sit on this notification for an extended period of time, and then ultimately you do something, well, guess what? The fact that you sat on it for an extended period of time and did not notify the users or notify the FDA of the problem, it just compounds the problem that these companies confront.
All right, kind of disturbing every time I hear that. That's just not very comforting to me as I buy stuff. All right, we got to step aside. This is our final break of the evening. A few minutes of the attorneys remaining, so stick around. We're coming right back.
I'm attorney Bobby Bell with Hollis Wright Law Firm. In today's world, social media is all around us. It is common for many people to post on social media regarding their life and activities on a daily basis. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and similar social media are great ways to stay connected to others and to share your experiences and thoughts. Some seemingly innocent social media posts, however, can have devastating effects if you're involved in litigation. especially in a personal injury claim, a contested divorce, or a child custody battle. Courts regularly allow adverse parties access to the other side's social media accounts, allowing relevant posts to be presented as evidence. These rules have allowed social media to become a hotbed of information in the litigation world. In fact, we are seeing more and more preservation orders issued by courts requiring you to collect and save any and all social media activity. Therefore, it's advisable that even before there's litigation, lawyers should advise their clients that social media content may be discoverable. Here are a few helpful tips. 1. Do not post anything about the case. This includes posts regarding conversations or meetings with your attorneys, remarks about your injuries, negative remarks about the opposing party. Do not post anything you would not want read in open court to either a judge or jury. 2. Avoid new friend requests from people you do not know. Many law firms and insurance offices may attempt to have employees follow you on social media in an attempt to gain information. 3. Limit adding new photos, check-ins, photo tagging, etc. Seemingly innocent posts may be used against you. Regular check-ins at restaurants, parties, or other events with friends can cast doubt on any claims of loss of enjoyment of life, pain and suffering, or emotional distress, since you appear to be living life as usual. 4. Increase your privacy settings. Many social media sites frequently update and change their privacy settings. In the litigation context, it is possible you may have to preserve and present anything you posted. Therefore, we encourage you to be smart and careful when using social media. Please remember, your call, email, or text to the attorneys is free. All of us at Hollis Wright want to help answer your questions on real issues you face. Remember, a competent lawyer will respond to every question you send in. That's our pledge and promise to you. Thanks for watching The Attorneys on WBTM 13.
Welcome back to The Attorneys, the final segment right here. Got about 6 minutes remaining, so if you want to speak with attorneys from Hollis Wright standing by live, you got about 6 minutes to take advantage of that opportunity. A question we've got here, we've been talking a lot about trials and going to trial here. What is the likelihood that I will have to sit for a deposition or go to trial in this case?
Great question.
I would say it's unlikely. There are going to be hundreds, potentially thousands of people in this litigation. There will be some depositions and there will be some trials, but they're going to be, a few cases picked, and that's what happens in these types of litigation. Is the court will come up with a system to choose 5, 10, maybe cases. So it would be somehow being chosen out of 300,000 people getting that 1 or 10. It's very unlikely. Never will say can't happen, but it's just not very likely. So at most, it seems that you would at most call us, give us the information, we order records. There may be some questionnaires you have to fill out, but we don't expect you to have to do more than that.
Yeah, and I would even go so far as to confidently say that 99% of the plaintiffs or people that file a claim are never going to have to give a deposition and certainly never going to have to go to trial. Like Bo indicated, there are what we call some bellwether picks where the judge will pick a handful of cases to get worked up for trial proceedings. But again, that is a less than 1% of the overall body of people that are filing these types of claims. Bo, I get this question a lot, and I bet you do as well. Getting people to understand that they're not going to be part of a class action lawsuit and that they will have their own individual personal injury claim. So talk a little bit about that so that the viewers understand that they're not going to be part of a class action.
And I get that not just from clients who call, but I'll have attorneys call and say, hey, are y'all involved in this class action? And this is not a class. What happens in cases like this when you're dealing with potentially hundreds of thousands of cases is there's a body, a federal government body that decides, look, we don't want cases filed in every district in the country and a judge doing something different and all sorts of different things happening. They will choose one location. In this case, they have done that. It's in Pennsylvania. So one judge will oversee the litigation, but your case is your case. I have to file it. Your facts are your facts. A class action, to me, would never be good for an injury case, although I'm sure they've been used that way, but I always think of those better if a bank is messing you over for $5. You can't hire me for $5, but if I can represent you who represent thousands of others who are also being taken for $5, that is what a class action would be better for. But so this is an injury case. It is an individual lawsuit, but it will be consolidated with other individual lawsuits under one judge for efficiency.
Yeah, yeah. Now, are we handling cases for people all over the country or just in Alabama?
We handle cases from all over the country. Of course, we love the state of Alabama, and we've been handling cases for people in Alabama for many decades, but I have cases from Alaska. I have cases from all over. Because the way the centralization works and I can file it into Pennsylvania, it doesn't technically matter where you are located. I can handle your case.
Now, this is particularly important for the viewers to understand and remember, and that is statute of limitations.
Right.
So we deal with statute of limitations in not only in the mass tort setting, but in the single event car wreck setting, but they're very unforgiving in terms of if you miss your statute of limitations, you'll be barred from pursuing the claim. Talk to the viewers a little bit about the importance of that.
Extremely important. Like you said, if you miss your statute, you could be left out of this litigation. Alabama has a 2-year from the date of injury. We sometimes can find some exceptions of that in the type of work that we do with these mass products. But I will go back to this and why you should act fast if you have this. There is an agreement now with the defendant where just with some basic information, your name, your date of birth, your address, your machine, and your serial number, I can immediately notify Philips that you are a potential client of mine, and that will stop your statute. So that's, again, why you should, if you are interested in this litigation or you think you have one, move quickly, because that will immediately stop it right there, and that will keep it from being a concern.
And you mentioned that Alabama has a 2-year statute of limitations. The majority of states out there have a 2-year statute of limitations, but there are some states, Louisiana, Kentucky come to mind, that have a 1-year statute of limitations, and then some have a 3-year statute of limitations. And what's particularly important to remember is we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the recall.
That's right.
And so people need to keep that in mind, because their statute of limitations, David, could run from the time they got sick from the CPAP, but it may also run from the time that they were first notified. So they've got to keep that in mind.
Which is June 2021.
That's
All right. So a little over a minute remaining. I want to give both of you an opportunity for a final word. Bo, if you would, go for it.
This is a project that we believe in. We're excited about it. We believe that there's going to be, it's a good case. And we just want to let you know, if you're at home and you have one of these machines, look into it, talk to your doctor. This foam is bad. I mean, the injuries it can cause are serious. So look to your doctor, contact us, we'll help you walk it through, and if you think it's a case, we will take it on, and as we said, it does not cost you anything unless we recover.
Yeah, it's a financially risk-free endeavor for the viewers to contact us and hire us to represent them in these claims, because we don't get paid and we don't recover the expenses that we have unless we recover for them. I would encourage them to go check out our CPAP page on our website at hollis-wright.com. There's a wealth of information there, or give Bo or I a call if they have questions. We'd be happy to talk to them.
Yeah, hollis-wright.com is the website if you want to go there right now and check it out, or give them a call. That information you see on your screen right now. Fellas, I appreciate the time.
Thank you, David.
Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Appreciate them being with us. Appreciate you being with us as well. And this is something, if you think you might be a candidate for this, this is one certainly spend your time. Get in touch with the folks here at Hollis Wright. Thanks so much for your time. We'll look for you next time right here on The Attorneys.
Thanks for watching The Attorneys, sponsored by Hollis Wright.